with the Mothers in 1975 with Captain Beefheart.
Right. That was really fun, and I got to meet Don. We became really good friends. We were out on the road, and he and I hung out a lot on the road, and because I could talk to him, he could talk to me. Whereas it seemed like George and Napoleon, I mean, we just weren't on their wavelength. We were more out people than them, more abstract thinking, you know. So we used to just do kind of funny. We had a lot of humor going on all the time. Because both of us just kind of stood around a lot. And then we'd just do our little thing. Like Don only did about 2 or 3 tunes a night, right? Yeah, he did 2 or 3 tunes a night, and he just drew the rest of the time. So he and I spent a lot of time, like we would just leave. Comes to a guitar solo, I just chased him off stage. Or he chased me off stage. And then we'd go out and smoke a cigarette and drink a beer, and Frank would be playing his solo. Then we'd crawl into the stage, and we'd come up and we'd crawl over to his guitar cord and start chewing on it. Stuff like that. Or we'd crawl clear across the stage, and he'd never do it. Because his eyes were closed and he was playing a solo. He never saw us do that stuff. But I'm sure he heard about it. But, so Don and I started getting along fine, and then you know, it's sort of like, Don asked me to be in his band, and then he asked me to play bass in his band, and then the manager, Herbie, said, well, don't call us, we'll call you. So, I didn't go. I just said, okay, fine. I'm not going to the rehearsal. We were supposed to have a rehearsal. So, okay, I said, okay, well, if those guys really want me in the band, they can come and get me. So they did. They came and got me. They told Herbie that I was going to be in the band. So I got my electronic trombone set up. Even as bad as it was, it sort of was okay, you know. It didn't have the punch of a real bass, but it was kind of interesting. And I could certainly go awfully low. But that was a really great experience trying to play the Captain's music on bass. And we did a tour of England like that, and we also played Nebworth.
What year?
76 and 77 or something like that. 78. I don't even know exactly.
And then you did the Darkest Raider station.
Well, but the main one was Shiny Beast. And we did that in San Francisco. Dock of the Radar Station, I was like, I started playing with Toshiko Akiyoshi's big band. And she had a tour. And her tour conflicted with his rehearsals. Now Don had this rehearsal method that was very different, you know. It would be like, go to rehearsal at 12 o'clock. Don shows up at 6. So he had to drive all the way from Lancaster, and he was on his own schedule, you know. I understood all that. That's fine with me. I loved working for him, you know. He was with him, you know, if you want to call it that. And it was kind of more creative than playing with Frank, even in some ways.
In what way?
Different, though. It's just because if we played, sometimes he and I just played together, the two of us. That was completely free, and his sax playing is from the other side of music. He didn't learn how to play sax. He learned he just painted with the sax. Got to try to remember where the hell I am here. Brookhurst? Might be Brookhurst. Is it Brookhurst? God dang it. Oh, we've got 45 minutes to be lost, so maybe we'll find it eventually.
you have any sound check or
I doubt it. Maybe.
you are ready for a gig at the moment?
We just play 1 hour. No big deal.
So what
But
with
okay.
the thing with Captain Beefheart, musically speaking, is
Well,
really
he-
weird.
Yeah, it's what he did was he'd sing you the parts, and then I would go take the tape home and then try to figure out from the singing what would actually work on the trombone. You know, in other words, translate it to trombone music, and then I'd come back and I'd play it for him. Meanwhile, he would, you know, be writing the drum parts and everybody else's parts. So the rehearsals were piece by piece, putting everything together piece by piece. Actually, Frank did that too a lot. He put things together piece by piece, laboriously. Okay, alto sax, you know. Then he'd say, now you play this. And then he'd say, okay, tenor sax, you play this. You know, it was really, and then we'd write the part down on a piece of paper.
Captain played soprano, I think.
Yeah, he played soprano, but he would either sing the parts or maybe play piano, play some parts on piano, and then we'd go learn them. But, you know, we put the thing together. It was quite a nice record, I thought. Shiny Beast. And the other one, Dog at the Radio Station. But we had a lot of great times when we went out, and I went with him and just drank coffee and drew pictures and, you know, smoked cigarettes or whatever. Well, he doesn't do that anymore. But
He's very sick, I think.
I don't know how sick he is, but I did talk to him a couple weeks ago.
About soloing, I saw one concert that was recorded in Solidens Skansen in Stockholm, 1973, and I thought that Frank allowed you to play solistically quite often. Am I right?
That's right. When the band was, especially, you got to remember one thing. He played different concerts for different parts of the world, and when it came to playing in Scandinavia, he played much more jazz than he did anywhere else. Because I think I'm supposed to go right. He knew that the Scandinavians really liked jazz. They didn't understand his lyrics too much, and so we played a lot more freely in Sweden and
In Finland.
yeah, everywhere over there, Finland and Norway too. But
You said the band was at its greatest in Australia.
well, I could be wrong, of course. I just thought that we were so tight that we just really knew the music. We just finished going to Europe, so we already had a lot of concerts under our belt, and we were really tight. We knew the stuff. The band was pretty big. You know, it was good.
About soloing, I mean, what did Frank tell you to do, or was the stage free for you?
Pretty free. Mostly free, actually. I mean, what could he do? He tried to set up some backgrounds to play with, and he would say, well, should you want to have this kind of chords, or want to have some other chords? And we tried some things out. But it was really like a jazz band. In listening to that stuff from 73 and stuff, that was really jazzy. But I was very interested myself to note that he was interested in jazz in his earliest days, too. And that it was like a jazz tune. I didn't realize how much of a jazz tune that was.